Hey YouTube, hey YouTube, hey. I was going to do a video on how awesome and excited I am that John Bernthal has been cast as the Punisher. I will. That's next. But before we get into that, I need to address the fact that we lost one of the greatest men in entertainment and in just existence. You may not have heard of him at first glance, but Christopher Lee passed on Sunday at the age of 93 due to respiratory issues. We're only finding out about this today because his wife wanted the family to find out first before it was brought to the press's attention, which is fair enough. That's, gotta respect those wishes. It saddens me because this guy was epic. There's no other word to describe it, okay? This guy acted alongside Errol Flynn. This guy was Dracula, okay? This guy was Dracula. He defined the character of Count Dracula for generations, okay? Way, way, way back in the Hammer horror days. And he was so good at playing a villain that I'm pretty sure he played Moriarty at one point, but I know that he was Francesco Scaramanga, the man with the golden gun. I don't know a lot of Bond, but I know that. He's good. He's great in that, okay? Man with the golden gun. He'll always be Saruman to me, and to a lesser extent, Count Dooku. Go with the Force, Dooku. And he's really great. He's been in a number of Tim Burton movies because he has that. He's got that gothic horror voice and persona, and he just lends himself to that type of film so well. One of the best kind of underrated roles I've loved him in is when he's as much of a fucking mess as that Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory remake was. He's great in it. The relationship between him and his Willy Wonka as his son, it's great, and he's fantastic in it. So that's one of my favorite sort of latter day Christopher Lee roles. He's in The Hobbit a little bit. He's in the Hobbit prequels, reprises the role of Saruman, but he's nowhere near as good or as menacing as he is in The Return of the King, or in the Lord of the Rings. But in The Return of the King, that just popped in my head there because he's sort of edited out of the last film. And then you get the extendeds and you see, oh, he's fucking class. What? How dare you? If you haven't heard this already, this is one of the best Christopher Lee anecdotes there is. In the extended edition, how he dies is Wormtongue stabs him in the back and then he falls off the tower and he lands on like a wooden stake, which is reason being Peter Jackson wanted to be the last director to drive a wooden stake through Christopher Lee, which is cool enough in itself. But like Peter Jackson's trying to direct the guys, okay, so and then he stabs you and you go ah, and Christopher Lee just looks at him and is like, do you know the sound a man makes whenever he's been stabbed in the back? And Peter Jackson's like, no. He's like, well, I do, so I don't need to practice on this. And that's it. They left it at that because this guy was in the SAS in World War II. He was in Special Forces. He's never really divulged what he did or what he was a part of. He just, he's always said like, no, we always agreed, past, present, future, we'll never confirm what we did. Let's just say it was Special Forces. How fucking cool is that? Okay, this guy was Bond before Bond. This guy was fucking Nick Fury or some shit. This is awesome. Just brilliant. And if you weren't impressed enough, when the guy was, he continued right up till the end of last year to make heavy metal music. He's 93. He was 93. He was in his 90s. And he was recording death metal albums on a yearly basis. Who else does that? Like I say, an epic man. Deeply saddened by the loss of this guy. I really wish I could have met him because, that man's lived a fucking life. There's, the word legend is thrown around a lot these days. Too much. It's overused and oversaturated, and I tend to avoid it when best I can. But this is the passing of a legend, and I'm really sorry. My deepest condolences to his family and his friends and all his loved ones. We're all grieving right now. You may not have heard of him, but you've known him, and that guy was a legend. And that's all I got to say on that. Cheerio, YouTube.